Hey friends, so for this video I'm trying out my camera stand, my phone holder. So I'm recording on my phone as I usually do most of the time, and I have a mic stand for my podcasts. What am I saying? I have a microphone stand for the microphone that I use when I'm talking, right? Recording audio, which I'm not doing right now, which I could, but then the audio would go to my computer, and I'm recording audio from the phone, and usually I'm often holding my phone in my hand, usually my left hand, sometimes my right hand, but mostly my left hand. And it's curious to see, I can move now, I can move back, I can move forward, I can, but there is, if you're holding the camera, you can move the camera with your hand. So it's an interestingly different dynamic, and maybe I'll just alternate back and forth between both styles and see how I feel about it, and if I change my mind. And the cool thing about this is I can have a beer. It's like 3 a.m. and I'm just feeling, I think in my yesterday's video I talked about working on my book. I did not work on my book today. Today was a very loungy day. I woke up tired, took a nap throughout the afternoon, watched a bunch of YouTube. I guess it's like a day off, right? Like, so the thing about my life is that I don't really do weekends, and I mentioned this in like my family business video, and I'm talking about growing up in my family where we had a family business that was basically always on, and we didn't really have breaks, we didn't really have vacations, it was just relentless. And so, even when I had a job, like, I go to work Monday to Friday, but like even on the weekends I would be working. I don't think of myself as a workaholic, but I never switch off, so I'm always like maybe working. It's just that my work is, kind of not, my work is not, what am I trying to say? It's not intense necessarily. It's not, it might not even be work. But there's always stuff that I am kind of thinking about all the time. There's always, so I'm always, I'm willing to do. So for example, what I would consider workaholism on my part right now in my life, what that might look like would be if I were hustling for consulting clients all the time to make more money, right? That feels like some kind of workaholism. But that actually wouldn't be that bad, because then I would have money and I can do something with the money. I can take vacations and stuff, right? But while I don't do that, I do spend a lot of time and energy kind of in the exploratory, curious phase of, so I'm always reading stuff, I'm always playing. My work and my play are very much intertwined, and that's not, for some people that's an ideal to strive for, and I do agree that there's something beautiful about it, but there's also something about it that can be stifling. Like, people do need breaks, like, and I'm not very good at taking breaks, and so once in a while, there's this saying that's like, if you don't schedule your maintenance, it will be scheduled for you. And like, so with regards to like industry equipment, engineering equipment, it's breakage. Like, if you don't maintain your factory assembly line machines, they will insist on setting aside maintenance time when you least want it, which is when they break down. And similarly, like with the body and with the mind, like if you don't set aside time to rest, you might fall sick, or you might just kind of sort of burn out. I don't, when I say burnout, thing is I don't have a job. Right, so a lot of the people that I talk to about burnout, and I remember what it was like to feel burnt out at my job, even though I loved my job very much, right? And yeah, so there is like the corporate slash job related burnout, and then there's also just doing what you love burnout, right? You can burn out. It's less intense, it's less painful, it's less kind of soul destroying, but it is kind of, you do feel a certain I do feel a certain exhaustion, a certain, I took a day off to go to a hotel and sleep. That was amazing. But it might not have been enough. I might have needed more psychological distance from my work, which includes these videos, by the way. So it's kind of funny, and yeah. So sometimes I go several days not making or publishing videos, and I'm kind of fine with that. Although I do think it's possible that if I'm more strategic about it, and if I anticipate my breaks better, if I know in advance when I'm going to take my breaks, then it's easier to plan my schedule in a way such that I would be making the most of my productive time and kind of using the output from that productive time to cover up for the shortfall of my downtime, right? So my issue, I think, is that how I think I would solve this for myself, or get better at this for myself, is to schedule the downtime. So that's something that you can plan in advance. Like, these days are precious and no work is to be done. It's just for goofing off, it's just for meeting friends, it's just for hanging out with my wife, just no work, not even playful exploratory work. It's just silly, mindless shit. It's really to let the mind just kind of be empty. And when I do that, then I will know in advance how to plan the content for scheduling during the downtime, if I want to do that, which I may not. Anyway, I was just thinking this video is going to be a bit longer and more relaxed, precisely because I'm not holding it with my hand and I have a beer. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the future and the experience of living in the future. There's this quote by, Jesus, what's his name? Is it Bruce Sterling? No. William Gibson, right? The future is already here. It's already here. This quote. William Gibson, attributed to Gibson. The future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed, right? Which is to say that, even so these days we have people on TikTok doing all kinds of performance art effectively. And there have been performance artists for decades, but in the 60s or the 50s or whenever those people were doing it, they were strange and weird and kind of anomalies, outliers. So they were the future, but they were unevenly distributed. So they were like weirdos at the time, but they were. David Bowie anticipated how the internet would be like an alien life form transforming culture. He was right. And I do think that there are some ways in which I am weird and some of my friends are weird that is kind of a hint of what the future could be. So I can't guarantee that it's definitely the future. So I want to talk about how that's difficult to live in. I don't know if I articulated this in my videos about vision, but being a visionary, right? And again, there's like this status associated with people who are celebrated as visionaries, like people who you call them visionaries because they have succeeded, or they appear to have succeeded, or they are taking credit for some success and they claim to have had the vision all along or whatever. And that seems to be like a very cool, successful, high status thing to do. But being somebody who's trying to figure out a vision of the future when you don't know it yet and there's no guarantee that you're right, that's painful, that's difficult. It's there's effectively nothing separating you from a literal madman, right? What's the difference between a visionary and a madman, right? It's like both of them are making claims that cannot be verified yet, And it's only in retrospect that the visionary turns out to have been right. And I have thoughts that come to my mind sometimes that I'm almost afraid to say out loud because it seems so ridiculous. And I do feel that for a visionary to be taken seriously in some sense, you do have to build credibility, right? You have to be distinguishable from a madman in some way. You have to demonstrate that you take people seriously and you understand the way the world is, but you also want to figure out where the world can go. And the where the world can go is weirder and stranger than what people think, because people reason incrementally from their experience. And lately I've been thinking things like, the way we teach music is all wrong. I'm not a professional musician. I'm just a casual amateur. But I feel like I have some insights on what good musicians, in my assessment, what they know about how music works and how music is. And then I contrast that to the way I was taught music as a child. And I'm not super up to date on the way music is taught to kids today in school and what people think about music as well. So like, if I really want to get into figuring out music education, that's like a multi-year project. I've talked to thousands of people, about hundreds of people at least, like piano teachers and students and live musicians, and just talk to lots and lots of people to figure out what's going on. But and I might do that, kind of peripherally while I'm doing other things. But Victor Wooten talks about how next to every wrong note, on either side of that note, there is a note that does work. We should be teaching that like at the beginning of any music class, right? I believe that music can be made simple enough that every child in school, potentially, I don't know if we can teach so I feel that I could probably teach most children who don't know music to appreciate music. And when I say appreciate, I don't just mean like listen, right? I mean like sit someone down with a piano long enough to, and I don't even play the piano. I don't have a piano. Yeah, the main instrument that I play is guitar. I play my piano on my phone app, right? But I have learned enough recently. Like, do you know that if you sit down at a piano and you play only the black keys, you will be playing in F sharp pentatonic, right? You'll be playing in all of the key, you'll be playing in the pentatonic scale of F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, whatever it is. It's just all of the notes work. So even if you don't know how to play music, you don't know what the notes are and everything, if you just fool around the black keys, and you can try this, go to like a piano app like in Google piano app on your browser or whatever, and just play only the black keys, you can have fun, and you can fool around, and you can like play them slow, play them fast, and alternate back and forth, and you can play music. It is music when you play with it. And you can, if you just do a little bit of that every day, you develop taste, and then you might start to get curious about what you can do. You can repeat one note while cycling through another note. You can change both notes. There's all kinds of things you can do without knowing the names of the notes, without knowing anything, right? It's literally learning by doing, and it'll work. And we don't teach this to kids. I don't know why. Because if you teach kids that, and you teach adults that, teach everyone that, right? They now have one thing they can do at a piano to entertain themselves and to have fun and to explore. And from once they're comfortable with that, they can start learning other things adjacent to that. And that's also how you learn cooking. It's also how you learn to draw. It's how you learn everything. And this is not how we teach people in school, because in school we don't teach for learning, we teach for assessment, and that drives me nuts. And surely I can't guarantee that this is the future, but a possible future for the species is one where humans learn how to learn, because we're not currently teaching people how to learn. It's crazy if you think about it. And so that's something that keeps me up at night a little bit. I mean, it's what would the world be like if we taught more people how to learn so that they can learn whatever they want to know, right? Like if you've been following me on YouTube, I still don't know how to edit videos, but you don't need to know that in order to make videos. You can just put your phone on, you can hold your phone up, or you can put it on a stand, right? If you watch my first dozens of videos, it's like the lighting was horrible. I was facing my laptop, and the light was coming in through the window, so the light was horrible. I didn't know how to think about light. Now I kind of know a little bit better, but I'm kind of choosing not to give a shit. But you can witness me learning how to make better videos, and it's just all about doing stuff and making mistakes and being uncomfortable with making mistakes and learning from those mistakes and seeing what's interesting. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about the strangeness of experiencing what it's like to believe that you know things that I'm sure other people also know as well, but not quite in the same way. So in a sense, I possess, I wouldn't call it secret knowledge. It's not like I know something that other people don't, but I believe that people don't weight the things that they know correctly, right? I think people kind of it's like having 5-star rating systems, right? You kind of rate everything somewhere 3 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 3 stars, 5 stars. And it's like in reality, some things are like 20 stars, 80 stars, 100 something stars, right? And the average thing is 5 stars or whatever. Like, people don't seem to realize that some things are dramatically more important than other things. Some things are dramatically more powerful than other things. And when you believe that and everyone else around you doesn't, it just feels weird, man. It's like if you watch The Big Short, which is a great movie about the global financial crisis in 2007, right? It's very illuminating to witness how somebody thinking for themselves, right? Michael Burry, is that his name? Thinking for themselves based on their rigorous examination of reality. Everyone else will think they're crazy. Literally, they'll think you're mentally unsound if you are not following the herd, because it's so-called rational to follow the herd rather than to think for yourself, which is bonkers, right? And yeah, I just wanted to kind of sit with that feeling for a bit. I think I'm good with that. I hope you guys are well, and let me know what you think in the comments. And do you have a thing that you kind of believe or you think about or worry about that you don't really discuss with other people? Let me know. Done.